Suddenly, now that I'm doing this, it seems like a terrible idea. But I'm the king of terrible ideas. It's not true at all. It sounds really nice, though. So, I just finished reading Neil Gaiman's. I don't even know. Um, I finished reading his book, Neverwhere. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, except that it's pretty good. A friend gave it to me. I enjoyed it. Um, but the main character goes from a normal world to a very not normal world, and ends up more or less becoming like a hero. And every time I come across stories like these, it's depressing. It's not one of the like, yeah, sure. There's the whole like, yeah, hero did the thing and woo, victory. I mean, it's depressing because I think, well, why couldn't that be me, right? Like, why can't it be me or you? And the immediate answer is, well, we don't live in that kind of world. And I'm not sure that's acceptable, but before I dive into that, I want to just think out loud. This whole thing is thinking out loud. I don't know why I intend to post this to the internet. Maybe someone with more wisdom than me can help out. But I went through a recent, well, I decided to no longer search for a mate. I have a very crazy philosophy where that kind of dictates certain things about that and blah blah blah. And it also states that there are things I should accomplish in this world, and I was unsure if I was able to complete those things. I don't know why I'm playing with this. I should be. And basically acquiring a mate and procreating would go towards those ends. And then I came across another idea of like, well, I'm running out of time to find a mate and procreate at the age I wanted to procreate at. Um, and so I was like, well, what if I just gave myself more time? Why don't I just live forever? I consider myself a scientifically minded person. Definitely not the most. I'm sure that if anyone, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who could watch this and be like, no, you're an asshole, fuck you. Um, but I feel like we are close enough and that I could do the appropriate work to actually enable that, to allow humanity to live forever. Or at the very least myself, which was the more immediate goals, that I could accomplish the other things that would help humanity. It'd be a double-edged goal, I guess. Endeavor, whatever. So that's been my thought for about a week now. Again, a new realization and mission. And I have no doubt in my ability to maybe not achieve it, but at least get pretty damn close. But then I think, okay, so let's say I do live forever, and I'm supposed to accomplish these goals. Are those even worth it? Because I think about heroes' stories and how, you think of Fallout, you think of Star Wars, you think of all these various forms of media where someone goes from a kind of humdrum life in whatever world it is they live in
and all of a sudden they're propelled into madness, and it's fraught with suffering and joys and the real highs and lows of life, and they accomplish big things within their respective worlds. And my thought is like I'll admit I'm full of myself. Like I said when I was a kid, I had both a superiority and inferiority complex. I believed that I could accomplish anything, yet that I was socially incapable. Um, and that's kind of changed. Instead of being so much like this, now it's more like this-ish, I get. But, and I know every person goes through this. They go, man, I could be that hero. And then you look at the news, and those heroes exist. Maybe not necessarily always at the global scale, but there are people doing amazing things. And my initial thought was like, well, yeah, figuring out how to help humanity live forever is an amazing thing. Come on, Beej, what the hell's your problem? But it's not it's not what I'm looking for. I don't think. I'm going to give away a lot of my secrets. I don't know if I'm actually going to post this. As a kid, I wanted to rule the world, right? Everyone does. Completely normal. Um, and I had very specific reasons. There were things that I saw humanity not doing, and that I wanted to enable humanity to do. Of course, being in sixth grade, seventh grade. Seventh grade was when I was probably the most serious about it, because all the best ideas come when you're 13 years old. Fact. But yeah, I I had a plan, and it was really good until I saw a couple movies where that plan kind of already happened, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I'm sick, by the way. um, and I'm trying to figure out what do I want to do with my life. It's like I've been calling it the quarter life crisis for successful people. When you've kind of got a job you want, or at least a good enough job, and you're stable and everything's cool. You may or may not be married or have a girlfriend or whatever, if you're male or male hetero. You know what the hell I mean. Um, and it's like, okay, cool. I've gotten to this. I life goals accomplished. What now? And that's effectively where I'm at. Um, I work at a video game company. It's really cool. I'm not helping make the game, but that's okay. I guess. The reason I allowed myself to get into the video game company was because I wanted to very strongly and measurably impact a significant portion of human culture. I wanted to inspire in humanity critical thinking skills, um, accounting for alternative perspectives, um, being able to step outside of yourself and make sure that you're going in the right direction, which is effectively what I'm trying to do now, right? Um, and basically help humanity to be better humans, or beyond human. That's what I really want. I want humanity to be greater than human. I originally went to school for biomedical engineering. I wanted to work in neural cybernetics. I wanted to bridge the gap between human and machine so that human could become greater than human. And I switched because the work itself didn't interest me. And to this day, I consider that somewhat of a failure. Like, yeah, the work was not the intro class was not particularly interesting and the work wasn't challenging or exciting. But it was just the intro class. It's meant to weed people out. That class specifically. And I feel like going down the culture path, it's kind of an easy way out, right? Now, computer science is not easy, right? Well, the culture, yeah, I explained that part already. Computer science isn't easy, sure, but it's something that I willingly pursue. And while biomedical engineering and neurocybernetics were something I intended to pursue, it didn't. I guess I have to say it didn't call to me. I mean, that sounds so fucking lame when I say it out loud. And now I look back, or now I'm trying to get into a neuroscience research lab as a volunteer. Um, to kind of, well, to pursue that goal of living forever and to acquire the skills that maybe I could come back to that place. But times like this have me doubting, is that really what I want? And then my philosophy comes back to mind where it doesn't matter what I want. I am insignificant. I am one of many as it should be, and only as a group, only as a band of humans striving towards some common goal can we accomplish anything meaningful. And, you know, that's true. That is true. And I find myself questioning a belief system that I've had since I was 8 years old. Do I want to live like that? It took a ways to get here. Up until I was 14, I I had no intention or desire to be happy. Um, Friends and family will say that, oh, dude, you were the happiest kid. And I mean, of course, I came across as happy. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? But happiness was not on my list of life priorities. And then I met a few people in high school, and yeah, basically, my the world has perverted my beliefs. It introduced the concept of happiness to me, and which has caused me to waver in my resolve to accomplish my goals. Getting into the gaming industry was more a move of happiness than it was of accomplishing our glorious mission. The language sounds silly. This is confusing. I don't know if I've ever been this confused in my life. There were there was a time where I had determined that my life goal was to be in the history books. I wanted the world to know my name for the rest of eternity. And I didn't care how. Didn't care if it was good or bad. Didn't give a shit if I was going to be Hitler. And then I also had this weird, fantastic, maybe belief? I'm not sure if I believe it, but some notion that I've made a bargain with the universe where I won't die unless it's on the battlefield or on a throne. I sometimes worry that I cling to my past too much, to an old, outdated belief system. I've modified bits and pieces of it. I'm not necessarily a pacifist now, but I'm much less inclined to violence than I used to be. I also find fewer reasons to go towards violence. This is counter to a core tenet of my philosophy, that humans are inherently violent, and that instead of attempting to suppress it, we must instead manage it and ensure that it is my ability to words, that it is as least wasteful as possible. And another problem is that I know that every moment of indecision I have is a moment that's being taken away from me accomplishing whatever I set out to do. And this frustrates me. I'm confused and I'm frustrated, and it makes me angry. But the anger is my fire. It's how I ever get anything done. Curiosity doesn't burn nearly as strongly. But there's a point where anger does run out, and you start to accept things, and you try to call upon that anger, and instead you just get sad. I'm just rambling at this point. I didn't have a script or anything. I had the first few thoughts. Of course, I'm doing this more for me than the internet, but hey, maybe someone out there will find it useful. I was really hoping I would come to a conclusion. I'm sure that'd be even more useful, right? But I don't know. Should I pursue my old goals? Should I come up with new ones? Should I try to be happy? I have a few ideas of what would make me happy. I'd kind of fallen into pursuing them, and they aligned somewhat with my goals. Kind of. Not to the extent that I had hoped they would, but enough that I think I might have been satisfied. And I've always kind of set a destination and then just let inertia carry me in that general direction. Not making really large, risk-filled strides. More of just when options would show themselves, I'd just be like, this is kind of in that general direction. And that's what got me to where I am today. And then I just tried to be good at whatever it was I happened to do. And a part of me is like, well, I mean, if your goal was to be in the video game industry, I mean, this got you pretty damn close. That works, right? And I mean, yeah, I'm not designing the game though. I don't run my own company. I'm not doing the things that would inspire the culture I had hoped to inspire. Granted, the company is very close, but it's more in its inner workings than in the game it provides. So then maybe I just wanted to be in that environment. Maybe that's why I wanted to teach everyone those things, just because I want to be surrounded by those people. Selfish. Then again, there's no such thing as not selfish. Even when you're being selfless, you're doing it for that feeling, that impression that you're a good person, that satisfaction of having given to someone. I saw her tonight. She looked good. She looked more grown up, which is good. That's why things happened. I wish we'd had more time, but it's probably better that we didn't. And she looked happy. Not happy in that moment, just the general healthy, secure, confident. All those things that I lack right now. It seems that I keep dating these girls. Yeah, I wonder if I'm doing that to them. Where I consider them and I pursue them and eventually enter a relationship with them because they exhibit those sorts of qualities. And then over time, they slowly change to not be that way. And then when our time is done, they're doing better than they had ever done before. It's a trend. I wonder if I'm knocking them down. Of course, all these questions have been since that event. I mean, I questioned things in the past, but not nearly as heavily. And I wonder if wanting to live forever is just a way to save me from the pain instead of to give myself more time. I want to be amazing. I want to be that person that people speak of and is inspiring. But I'm just so tired. I often wonder how certain people always seem to have so much energy. My roommate, she has so much energy. And even when she doesn't, she rests with intensity, I guess. Whenever she's not like super gung ho about something and she's relaxing, she very much relaxes. None of this like half relaxing thing. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't do that. I can't let myself be extreme in my behaviors. In my thoughts, sure, but I'm just risk averse. Adverse? Averse? I don't even know. Words have gotten harder as I've gotten older. It's the natural mental decay of being human. I just need to leave my comfort zone. Maybe it's as simple as that. I'm in a cushy job. Yeah, I work hard at it, but not any harder than I would normally work. I have a nice apartment. It's good enough. Plenty of space. Reasonable price. I have a good number of friends who are all not terrible people. I want to. I'll be out and about somewhere, and I'll be like, I wonder if I could sneak in here. That could be fun. I wonder if I could trick this person into thinking I'm an employee or that I'm someone important. These roguish things, right? I never do them. Because, you know, I work at a company that I enjoy, and if something were to happen to me, I wouldn't want that to be tied to the company, or I don't want it to prevent future work prospects. But these are all things that I don't know. No, I do know. Fuck that noise. I do know. You look at some of the amazing people out there, and they're amazing because they went against the flow. I need to stop being comfortable. Which sucks because a lot of my life has been working towards comfort. Working towards not having to worry about anything. But maybe in not having to worry about anything, I've forgotten how to think about anything. What would I do? I asked this question on Facebook. It's that curiosity question, or the question that inspired that curiosity video. If you had nothing binding you, what would you do? If you didn't have to work for an income. If your days were yours to do with as you pleased, what would you spend them doing? I say things like write code, build beautiful things, and here I am sick at home playing fucking video games. That's not what someone great does. Granted, I'm sick, so I can't really go out and be social or be where other people are. I mean, I can, but it's not a thing I'm willing to do. I'm looking at my recorded self right now and noticing the shapes my face makes when I'm clean shaven. Nice shade because she was coming. Such a fucking tool. I have a poster of Lindsey Sterling dressed up as Link, the Legend of Lindsey. Of course, I'm under the impression that she was one of those kids who was able to pursue what she wanted because she had a family that just kind of took care of her. I mean, I could do that, but I'm not a fan of my family. That's not entirely true. There are many points that we don't get along on. That's very true. Um, what would you do, Paige? Back to the task at hand. What would you do? Hmm. Better question. Not would. Will. What will you do? Right now I'm going to put away my thing to fix my clock that fell off. But I'm just distracting myself from the question at hand because it terrifies the hell out of me. Which is probably one of the reasons why I'm recording this, so I can hold myself accountable. I'm gonna go work at a research lab. Is that the kind of life I want to pursue? Being stuck in a lab, dealing with old people to figure out why their brains are dying? Crunching numbers and writing notes, dealing with smart people, trying to figure out problems. I want to go into space. That would be cool. That'd be a nice challenge. A lot of stuff out of my hands, which would make me antsy. I don't like not being in control of situations where I could possibly die. I don't like being the passenger in a car. But I'll ride a motorcycle, because I'm in control of that shit. And, yeah, back to... So yeah, I could do that. It would be terrifying, but what I do needs to be terrifying. I don't have any of the appropriate skills, but hell, if I'm looking to get into biotech, there's no reason I couldn't look into get into that. Or use biotech to get into that. My original plan was to do the game thing for a little while, go into biotech, and then be an educator. And fall into obscurity. Not much of a plan. I don't want to die. I don't. I never want to end. There's too much to do. And here I am not doing it. But then there's the thought, well, if you had an eternal life, would you be compelled to do anything? And since I don't want to die, I'm convinced that I'll figure out a way to not die, and therefore I'm not spending my time effectively. So yes, that holds true. Part of me has to accept that I'm mortal, and another part of me is like, no, I don't have to be mortal. Nope. I can help get that figured out. Hell, we're at the point where we can create energy in the same manner that the sun does. Why the fuck can't we live forever? I want to live forever so that I can do amazing things. So I can go on adventures. So I can never be forgotten. Because I'll always be there. Such a broad goal, though. It's not actually a goal, really. It's more of just doing something so well that history finds it worthwhile to remember you. Well, that's not entirely true either. If I were to be the best computer scientist ever, yeah, I might be an article on Wikipedia, but big fucking deal. Shit's hard. But good. I need hard. I need that right now. Hard is good. Difficult is good. If you can figure out how to take something difficult and make it not difficult, that's even better. What do I want to accomplish? Being in the history books is not an answer. What do I want to accomplish to get me into the history books? What do I want to be known for? But then I worry that I won't have that sense of struggle. Like even in my current job, I don't really feel that sense of struggle. And I'm sure a bunch of my coworkers, including my boss, would be like, "Oh, well then we're not challenging you. We need to figure out how to challenge you." But that's not the kind of challenge I'm looking for. Is it? I say I want the kind of challenge that impacts lives, maybe including my own. It could be argued that our game impacts lives. Could be argued. Is commonly argued. That's not going to get me in the history books. Part of me wants to get into politics. But I don't have the people skills, and I'm not sure I have the desire or will to acquire them. Well, let's go over what people in history books are known for. You have Einstein, who defined a physics theory. Hmm. However, he also flunked out of traditional schooling, indicating that his mind works very differently from the way my mind works, as I did very well throughout my schooling until college. You have Hitler, who led people to commit incredible atrocities. You have Isaac Newton. You have Tesla. Neil deGrasse Tyson will likely be forgotten, as will Bill Nye, as much as I love both of them. What other people, maybe not from the sciences? Washington, Napoleon, military leaders. I can't think of any artists. Oh, Picasso, Van Gogh. That's not my path, though. Mozart. Mozart. I don't even know. Maybe I could become a leader. Politician, even. A part of me, I wanted to join the military as a kid. For a long time. I worry that I'm too old for it now. Worry. I'm pretty damn sure I'm too old for it now. It's a long video. I worry that I'm too old. A lot of people who do amazing things have done them by now. No, that's not true. That's bullshit. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is true. I could just be a late bloomer. I don't know what to do. I don't care about anything enough. I'm not a person of extremes. Or maybe I'm just afraid to be extreme. I think that's it. don't believe in anything strongly enough. Except my belief system. Which I guess... But no one wants to... You say eugenics and people freak the fuck out. I don't know.
I really don't. This is my problem. Indecision. So maybe that's the first problem I should tackle. How do I find what I want? Do I experiment to discover? How much time will that take? How can I short circuit that? What's even on the list to experiment with? How do I know when I've found it? I suppose that's what I'm doing now, by trying to get into biotech. I suppose I do that naturally. Poise, swing dancing, skateboarding, singing, acting. Dying, apparently. I don't want to just fade away. I don't want to end. I really want to come to a conclusion for this. But I don't think I'm going to come to it in one night. I think that's pretty reasonable. Well, how about this? I'll keep track of this. I'll make more of these. I'll track my journey so that I can reflect on it and make sure that I'm progressing. It'll be motivation. And that maybe someone else can learn from it. And I'll experiment. I'll go find others who are in similar places, or others that have achieved meaningful things. And I'll figure out what makes them tick. That's what I'm good at. And then I'll figure out what makes me tick, and how I can use that. If I can live long enough. Alright, Internet. I've wasted enough of your time. Thank you for listening. Seriously. I hope you get something out of this.